All right, we're live.
Or live.
So John needed to go somewhere warm from San Diego, right? So we went to Florida.
San Diego's cold, man. It's like 65 degrees today. Serious.
Oh, I'm
Maybe.
sorry. I think it's like 45 degrees here, so
Oh man. See,
just saying.
why would you be there?
It's all a matter of perspective.
It's 57.
Yeah, what is the temperature now?
Not that far. It's almost the same
57. Yeah, that's almost the same as here. It's 32 here.
Yeah, it's not very different for us.
Yeah, see?
67, 57, 32.
Yeah, it's only a 25-degree difference. I mean, no big deal.
Yeah, no big deal.
Oh, so what's new? What's new with you?
Just working on my Facebook ad stuff. So
How's that going?
it's going good, man. I mean, there's a lot of copy work, a lot of work on the on writing a better sales pitch compared to what we have so far. Because what we have is good for our warm audience, but as soon as you go to cold audience, you almost have to basically be able to build all of that trust and all of that excitement and everything just through a sales page. You don't really have any of that trust, that warmth, that connection with the audience. So the sales page has to do all that work, and not only that, it has to be gripping enough. So yeah. Oh shit.
And what are you advertising to get people to buy?
The Entrepreneurs Book Club.
Okay. Did you spill something or something?
Well, these are like newly installed tables, and under them they're all like, I feel like this dusty wood things on them. What about you, man? Did that guy pay?
I have one person signed up for my mastermind.
All right. The guy who said he had set aside the money, he paid for it?
Yep. I emailed him. I said, do you want to jump on a call? And he's like, nope, I already paid you. Because I sent him the link too. I was like, you sounded like you were ready, but I'd like to talk to you about how this works. He's like, nope, I'm good. I had already sent him the link.
That's it. It's beautiful. That's the way to do it. The guy is ready more than you. Like, you don't need any more. Like, he doesn't need to be sold. He's ready to go.
Nope. Yep.
I don't think you were trying to sell. You were just trying to tell him what to do next or anything.
Yep.
But most masterminds, like, nobody's gonna like have another call to tell them what. If anything, like, I just like to. The way I structure mine is like, I will have an ongoing calendar, like ongoing meeting, so like weekly meeting, but then I also like to have an onboarding call one-on-one with that person to kind of understand where they're at, what their current situation is, so I can really help them.
Yep.
And define a path forward, because otherwise if people just jump in without really any perspective, like if I don't have the perspective, I can't really help them as much as if I know exactly where their business is at, then I can. So I take that time, I'll schedule an extra hour one-on-one separately from the calls before they jump on the group calls, because that's the easiest way for me to really understand their business and to help them quickly, let them hit the ground running.
Yep. So one thing that I've been thinking about, and I've talked to a few other friends that run masterminds, and what they're doing in their masterminds is pretty different from what you're doing in yours, because they're doing kind of the more mastermind concept from Think and Grow Rich, where it's everybody piles on and helps out, and yours feels more like group coaching, when I show up to that. And so I'm trying to figure out what that looks like. I mean, initially it's going to look a lot more like group coaching, just because I think I bring most of the experience and value and know-how and stuff like that, right? And then I'm hoping that it becomes the other thing.
I don't really want to think of it as a mastermind. Like the more I think about it, like masterminds, the idea might be a little different. But yeah, I think of it as an accelerator slash group coaching because I would I would not be excited about having everyone sending feedback. Like I don't think that mastermind would be very helpful if I had 6 people and they're just telling each other what to do. Like that's not going to help them to the level that I know we can help them.
Yeah.
That I can help them because they're coming to me for perspective. They're not coming to me for being in the community of other people, which they can. That would be a separate entity, not this entity.
Right. So yeah, typically the way that I've seen these run is you have like a 20-minute kind of warm up where everybody talks about what went well during their, during the week and things like that, right? So I chime in and I'd be like, hey, I sold my first, mastermind client, right? And then, and I'd be curious to see how John's masterminds go, if they're more like, I'm guessing his look more like group coaching too.
Yeah. Most of us,
But yeah, then what they do is they usually have a hot seat or two, right? And so you can focus on one person for 20 or 30 minutes and another person for 20 or 30 minutes, right? And you can go deep and then everybody else, so they'll talk about, hey, I've been looking at Clubhouse and I'm kind of thinking that it might be a good way to go, but I'm just not sure how it fits into what I'm doing. And since we know enough about what they're doing and where they're trying to go, everybody does, then somebody may say, hey, well, I've tried Clubhouse and here's how I've seen it working. And these are the kinds of rooms people seem to be creating. And this is how I've seen people extract business from it and stuff like that, right? And then somebody else might chime in and say, oh, yeah, and I haven't been on Clubhouse, but I've led some live discussions that are like Clubhouse. And when I facilitate them, I do these kinds of things to, add the value there. And so it kind of turns into this kind of group think and brainstorming session about how that person can succeed for 20 minutes or so.
Yeah. Yeah. There's value in that too. I think it's a different kind of setup.
Yeah.
I just currently, I think I like being involved in the discussions to the point where I know what the leveraged work is in their business that they need help with, and I can help them with. Maybe at some point there will be a separate entity, because this to me is the way I see the fastest path to growth for most of the people.
Right.
But if there was a better way which could be faster, I would do that. But until then, I'm not until then I'm like, okay, well, I got to do what I need to do to make sure people are making more money, or people are making a lot more money. Like already in just, in the last few weeks, I've already seen one of the guys, will not name names, but he's already added another $20,000 in just 1 week from being on the mastermind. Just it's really as simple as that. And I feel like, because I spent an hour and a half with him, getting to know his business, getting to understand exactly where he was, it was really easy for me to step in and say, okay, you need to make this change in your business. And just that change, $20,000 last week, last week. And I'm assuming it will be even more this week, because there are 2 different things I asked him to do, especially with Facebook advertising and with email marketing, that I think will have another huge impact on the business. Maybe I'm assuming it will be another 30, 40, 50K added to his business because of those changes. I don't know if I don't know, I can, right now, I feel like I need to be able to give that guidance because I know the businesses well enough, but over time, maybe I'll have 2 different programs. I don't see the group coaching is completely different from mastermind. I agree. Mastermind is more of where it's a gathering of peers to help each other out, and things like that, which is good. which has a lot of value. But I never said this is just a gathering of peers, right? It was more of like
Yeah.
being led. I'm leading you to the next level of your business. That's the promise more than anything else.
Yeah. Well, and I've talked to a whole bunch of people, and it seems like a lot of them that have kind of the mastermind setup like we're talking about, where everybody chimes in with, thoughts or experience or whatever. They all kind of started out with some form of group coaching in it, right? Because they're usually led by somebody that's a thought leader in that arena, that's, that is helping people along, right? And so whether I push it to be more like the mastermind, or whether I push it to be more like group coaching, I think initially either way, it's going to look a lot more like the group coaching, if that makes
For
sense.
you, it's a no-brainer. You have to do group coaching. You literally
Yeah.
need a curriculum. You need a program as you start signing people on.
Yeah.
Right now you don't. Right now you just help people as you go, but record the calls, start to see what patterns are
Yep.
emerging, and you'll start to see, okay, day one, do this, day two, do this. In the sense, right now, you cannot do a mastermind style mastermind if that's what you're trying to think. Like, if that's even a
Right.
question, like, there's no way, because just putting a bunch of developers in the room and trying to give them ideas on how they can help other developers improve their careers is not good.
No.
They don't know. They have no idea what they're getting. Like, they want to grow, they want to start a podcast. They have never done a podcast, right?
Yeah.
If it was like that concept of mastermind, where it's like, okay, I want to bring together anyone who's making over a certain amount of money online and let them help each other out, that's a different concept altogether.
Mm-hmm.
Completely
Yep.
different concept altogether, compared to I want to help people get to the next level in this business.
Right.
All right.
Yeah. The thing that's interesting is that I completely lost my train of thought there.
Yeah. How many calls have you had now, and what's the current state of affairs?
Oh, that's where I was going to go with it. So I've done 10 calls, and I'm already seeing certain patterns emerge with it.
What is
and
it?
Like, I had a call this morning with somebody from Austria, and so we're chatting, right? He's just wandering around town while we're talking, because he didn't want to do the call at work because he's going to quit. And he's like, look, I want to go freelance, but he's doing software architecture, and he's like, I don't even know how to tell people that they need my skills. And so we started chatting about a podcast and how that would help him out. And yeah, I'm just like, look, this is a no-brainer, right? You want to go freelance doing architecture, after 3 or 4 months of podcasts, if you're doing all the right things and reaching out to the right people and making the right connections and doing, what you need to do. I was like, you're going to be able to bring in the clients you want. And he's like, well, how many people do I need listening? And I said, look, when I started podcasting, I had a few hundred people listening to my show. I mean, honestly, I look at the numbers as like 400 people. And I was getting plenty of clients from it as a freelance developer. It was like, so, I mean, given that you only need 1 or 2 to fill your time, right? It only takes a few hundred. And if you're talking about the problems they have and talking about the solutions they need and talking about, I mean, you don't even have to tell them that you can solve it, because you're essentially telling that by telling them how to solve it.
Yep, exactly.
I was like, then you just mention at the end of your show, hey, look, so if you need more help with this, give me a call. Right? Yeah. And we can do it on an hourly basis, a project basis, or a retainer basis, right? We'll work with you. I'm like, it's a no-brainer there. And I was like, and they'll pay you because they know you can solve the problem, right? They'll pay you more because you're less risk. He's like, that makes a ton of sense. So I'll probably email him later today and say, hey, look.
What did he say about, like, how much would he be willing to pay or anything like? Did you ask about that? Did you talk about that?
I didn't. By the time I was getting to that point, I was out of time because I had to go on to another call.
So here's the challenge with a call like this. You don't want, so when you get in a sales conversation, or even in a early pre-sales conversation. This is about hearing their pain,
Yeah.
and hearing their dreams,
Yes.
right?
And I got on all that, but he asked me specific questions about podcasting.
Well, you don't answer, like, you don't say, okay, if that is the case, you say, okay, I have a program designed specially for helping people go through the whole mastermind, like the podcasting process
Okay.
and this and that. The challenge with something like this is that person might be underserved, because what they might end up doing is saying, oh, I just need a few hundred listeners. Why do I need Chuck's help? I'm just going to go do this. I'm going to just start a podcast. I think I can do it myself. And then they will
Okay.
probably never get around to doing it, or even if they do it, they will do a bad job at it. And then
Mhm.
they'll just think like, yeah, whatever. So you got yourself in a situation where you're kind of giving solutions. Don't give solutions,
Yeah.
right? Don't give solutions. Propose, like, figure out what the pain is, figure out what their end result is that they
Mhm.
want, and tell them that you have a system that will help them get to the end results,
Okay.
right? You have a
Yep.
process, you have done this, you have a system that will get them to the end result, but that's about it. Like, and if he asks any further questions on like how does it work and all that stuff, you're like, okay, let's schedule a separate call where I'll go through this whole process with you in much further detail, and we'll figure
Okay.
it out over there. Because by giving just little bits of like do this, do that, you didn't serve them well. Like one of the guys in
Mhm.
the mastermind, one of the guys in the current like 100K group, uh, uh, I had told him do this and do that and do this and do that,
Mhm.
right? I won't say who it is, but he's a friend of mine, right? So I had
Mhm.
told him do this, do that, do this, do that, and it's been 3 years of him doing this, doing that, doing this, doing that, and he already knew that I had told him, okay, you need to do this, you need to do that. 3 years, he would come to me. I would tell him what, like, whenever he had questions, I would be like, yeah, you should do this or you can do that or anything like that, right? But in 3 years, he has made very little progress because he never really submitted, he never really surrendered to the idea of
Right.
going whole hog into making it work until he joined the mastermind. As soon as he joined the mastermind, or as soon as he joined this 100K group, uh, he got super serious. He's
Mhm.
like, oh shit, now I'm paying, now I better make this work. Now he's showing up, he's doing all the work, he's doing all the, he's basically doing all the stuff that he should have done 3 years ago. Why? Because
Mhm.
now he's committed, he's making it happen. So because of him paying and joining the group, he's actually getting the results already.
Right.
Compared to when he quote unquote had the idea, but he just wasn't making it happen. His results were weak because he had some inclination of or some understanding of how this was going to be done, but he was just not dedicated, not committed to the cause, and those one-off feedbacks only made him feel like, oh yeah, okay, I got this. Okay, I got this. It's a piece of cake. Okay, I got this. Okay, no big deal. But once he joined the group and once he realized like how to the level of detail and to the level of intricacy all of these things are, and how much more commitment he needs to make it happen, and how much more results he's getting as a result of doing this work, that's a no-brainer,
Mhm.
right? So
Yep.
we as the coaches, we as the leaders, we sometimes underserve, or we actually screw up our 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 people, or we spoil our people by giving them bits and pieces of the solution and saying, okay, do it, because what they will end up doing most of the times is they will implement just a little bit of it, they'll get half-ass results,
Right.
and then they'll wonder if this was like the best. Like, they will basically not come to you, they will try to do it themselves, they will waste time and effort and energy, they'll waste months and months or even years, or never do it. They'll be like, yeah, that shit never works, I'll just go
Right.
to blogging or whatever. Yeah, Chuck's idea was good, but not really for me.
Right.
So
No, that makes sense.
yeah, don't don't start giving them solutions in the sales call. That's not what the sales call or even the discovery call is. It's not for giving solutions. It's for
Right.
understanding their problems and their frustrations of where they are, understanding the end result or showing them the end result and saying, if I could get you there, how much would you be willing to pay?
Mm-hmm.
That's the discovery call,
Yep.
right?
No, that makes sense. Yep.
You are a developer today. You want to build a big, you want to build a freelance career.
Mm-hmm.
If today as a developer you're making 100K, as a freelancer, the heaven, like remember, first the hell, then the heaven. What's the heaven? Could you make 200K? Okay, you want to make
Right.
200K. All right. So if I could, and I know I can because I have like this is not such a like I have a system designed exactly for that. I'm designing a program exactly for that. I have done this. I'm going to show you how to do this, and I'm going to
Right.
take a bunch of people through this program. If I can take you from 100K to 200K, how much would you be willing to pay me for that?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
So if you propose it like that, it's almost a
Right.
no-brainer that someone would pay you $1,000 a month to go from 100K to 200K. But if
Right. So
you get
this
into
guy,
like the yeah,
I would say something to the effect of, so if I could guarantee you that you're going to get a
no
certain,
guarantees. The
okay,
guarantee is his work. He has to do the
right.
work. You don't. The thing is, you
No,
can't guarantee.
that's what I mean is
Yeah.
if you do what I tell you to,
No,
and
okay. So think about it like this. Okay, this is the hell, and this is the heaven.
right.
And you say,
But if I
okay,
could
I
get you to
believe
the
it.
point where you're getting a
Yeah.
few leads in every month to keep you 100% full,
No, you say
no,
right now you're struggling, you don't enjoy it, you're making 100K a year, you'd much rather be doing freelance, be your own boss, and making
right,
200K a year.
right,
I'm building a program, a mastermind that's going to show people how to do that using
right,
the power of podcasting, building a name for themselves, becoming well known in the place to the point where people will come to them and pay you top dollars. It might be
right,
200K, it might be 300K over the years. The sky's the limit
right,
once you implement the program.
right.
Are you interested in something like this? And they're like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, maybe I'm interested. Or they say, no, not really, in which case you hang up, right? You're like, all right, see you later. Not
Right,
interested, bye. If they say, yeah, I'm interested, you're like, okay, well, how much would you be willing to pay for it? If if you're like you're currently making 100K, with a program like this and with the authority you build and with becoming much more well known, you could go make 200K or even higher. How much would you be willing to
right,
pay? So don't promise. Don't promise because you don't know the results that person will get because their effort is a big
right.
variable in this whole thing. So you don't want to get yourself in a situation where the person's
Oh
like,
yeah.
well,
You
Chuck
said
is
you
going to
would
do
get
all
me
the
here and you
work.
didn't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you would get me here, you wouldn't. You only want people who know they themselves will do the work to get the results. You will be the guide in the process.
Right.
So I literally have people who would be like, oh yeah, so if I paid you like 10K, does it mean that my business will make, I'll have an automated revenue funnel for 100K a year? I'm like, no, it does not mean that, right?
Right.
It only means that you're gonna come and learn and do the work. It
Right.
doesn't mean that just because you pay me the money, you'll automatically have a business. You will still have to do all the work to build the damn business, right? So
Right.
when I'm saying, okay, I can help you build automated revenue funnels, I can help you build funnels,
Mm-hmm.
I can help you sell your products, make 100K per year from automated funnels. I'm not saying that it will happen just because I tell you we can do it. It will happen because you will do the work.
Right.
I will show you how to do the work. I will show you the work you need to do. And I will show you exactly what are the steps to take at every step of the way,
Yep.
right? Which is what
So
most people lack.
right. So essentially what I would be saying then is right now you're looking to quit your job so you can go freelance as a software architect.
Mm-hmm.
I'm putting together a program that will show you how to keep your pipeline full and demonstrate your expertise through podcasting so that people will want to hire you at top dollar.
No,
No.
no. Okay, let me rephrase it. You say, okay, so right now, this is what I would say. Okay, and it's a big difference. You'll see as we talk through this one more time. And for those of you who are listening, if you're savvy enough, you will get the difference between what Chuck was saying and what I'm saying. I'll break it down. So I'll say, all right, man. So right now you're telling me in your present career as a developer, you're making 100K a year. You don't really like that job. You don't want to be stuck in it for the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the dream career you had in mind. You want to be your own boss. You want to call
Right.
the shots. So you'd much rather be a freelancer, and you'd much rather have the power to be able to take the jobs that you like. And not only that, hopefully make a lot more money. As you said, if you were a freelancer, you could possibly be making 200K a year, right? So you say yes?
So I needed to talk to him and basically find out not just what he wanted, but why he wanted it, so that I understood the appeal, the emotional
Mm-hmm.
appeal of what he was working
Mm-hmm.
toward.
Mm-hmm. The emotional appeal is what sells. Logic doesn't sell. Logic doesn't sell shit. Logic only sells, a piece of paper. Even a computer is sold on emotion more than logic. Even a phone is sold on emotion,
It's
not logic,
true.
right? An iPhone is, I have an iPhone more because of emotion, not because of logic, right?
Yeah.
Clothes are sold on emotion, not logic. Everything is sold on emotion, more or less. So you couldn't be selling a $1,000 program on logic. So you have to first, like when you get on the call with that person, you're like, okay, so what's going on, man? What's going on with your career? Because it's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I'm working as a software engineer. I do this, and this. So you're like, okay, well, that sounds like a good career. Why do you want to get out of it?
Right.
Why do you want to, what do you want to change? And the guy's like, well, shit, man, I hate going to have to go to work. And the guy, my boss, is an idiot. He doesn't even understand half the shit that he asked me to do. He doesn't get it. I don't like to work with him. And I really don't want to be doing this for the rest of my life. Like, you really need to poke the pain. You need to get the pain of that person's reality to be able to get them the new version of them. You're only selling a newer version of themselves to themselves, improved future version of themselves. Anything else you're selling, you're gonna screw it up, right? So
That's
you're
true.
selling
But it has to be something that appeals to them in a strong way.
exactly. So you don't try to create it yourself. You let them create it. They have to tell you. When you say, "So what's wrong with your job? Why don't you like it?" Well, what's wrong with that? You let them cause pain to themselves, if you want to say that.
Mm-hmm.
Let them cause pain to themselves rather than try to be like, oh, hey, um, oh, that sounds terrible. That sounds like a horrible boss. No, let them tell you, wow, yeah, man, I hate this job. Like, if I'm a developer, I'm thinking, yeah, I hate my job because my my boss doesn't even understand half the things he tells me to do,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like I'm just a cog in the wheel. I feel like I'm doing this stupid little like bug fixes all day long rather than really doing the high quality work that I know I can do. I want to do that kind of work, like all of those things, and I'm not even getting paid the money I want to make. And like now we're getting into a little more pain. So you have to dial up the pain even in this discovery call. You have to ask why.
Right.
Your job is not to show the how. Your job is not to show. Your job is to figure out the hell and the heaven and tell them that you have a system, or you're designing you are basically putting together a program because you have done it yourself.
Right.
You've done it for yourself. You have a podcast that has millions of listeners, and you're gonna show all the people, like you're gonna show that system to everyone in that program. But get their hell, make them feel the hell. Get their heaven, make them feel the heaven, and say, okay, I'm designing a program that will get you from hell to heaven. Or I'm starting a
Mm-hmm.
program, or I have a program. It's already started now. It's starting next week, right? So you have a
Right.
program. I have a
Yep.
program that will help you get from A to Z,
Mm-hmm.
uh, from making 100K a year to potentially making 300K a year, because you're gonna level up your career, level up your skills. You're gonna become much more well known. Blah blah blah. And now, like, if would you be interested in something like that? And
Yeah.
yes, and I say, and at some point you almost have to not say how much are you willing to pay for it, because what happens, like at some point these discovery calls become more of like, you almost have to let go of discovery calls and go into sales calls, because that discovery
Right.
calls is usually enough to understand what the pains of the market are, unless you
Right.
didn't dig into the pain and didn't dig into the future vision that they wanted to create, in which case you probably need more discovery calls. But what you really need, like from those calls, you're going to say that program is going to be, you don't have to say anymore that it's $500 a month, right? You can literally
Mhm.
say, or $1,000 a month, or how much are you, no, you don't have to say how much are you willing to pay. You could literally say, I have a program that's coming up soon, or I have a program, um, and would you like to know more about it, right? And they say
Right.
yes, and you say, okay, let's schedule a call to talk about it. Because you know,
Right.
if someone is making 100K, they will pay $1,000 a month to get to that level. You don't have to
Yeah.
try to figure it out at that point. If you do the right
No,
sales
that
call,
makes
they
sense.
have to pay $1,000 a month to get there. If you do
Yep.
sales call the right way, right? But you have to qualify them. They only have, like,
Mhm.
if they're making 100K, your qualifiers, if they're making 100K, then they're good enough because they can pay $1,000 a month. If they can't, like, they're usually well qualified, but the value has to be built up in the sales system itself.
Yep.
So, by the way, the client who said no, I already paid you. What, like, did you do exactly what I said? What happened there?
What do you mean?
Like, remember you said, okay, I have this guy who's ready to pay me, and did you just go and send him a link and say, okay, here's the link, go ahead and pay?
Yeah, pretty much. I sent him an email and I said, "Here's the link. Here's what we're gonna do," and and then I was like, if and
Hang on.
I
So
but I
you,
also said if you need to talk through it with me a little bit more, if you have any questions, here's a link to schedule. He said, I don't have any questions. Here's the money.
boom. Yeah. Usually you don't need that, because then you can only create problems for that.
Yeah.
For a person who's already sold, you don't want to resell them. You can only hurt a sale when it's already sold.
Yep.
So, you can only hurt a sale when the person is already sold.
Yeah.
Um,
I emailed all of the other people that I had calls with and basically sent them the same thing, right? And just basically said, "Hey, look, here's what I'm putting together." And yeah.
What happened?
I didn't send any of them the sign up link. I just told them that I'd like to talk to them and answer any questions they had. So maybe I should have sent them the sign up link just to see if anyone else was ready to go. But nobody else seemed as ready as this guy.
Dude, you just don't know. But
Yeah.
now the thing is, it's good. It's good. You have the sign up link for the next call, right?
Yep.
How many people signed up
What do you mean?
for that email? How many people signed up for the 60-minute call, the sales call?
Nobody
Where
yet.
did you go? When did you send the email?
Wednesday?
Can you share the email? Or just copy and send it to me? I can take a look.
Yeah.
That's not a good sign. That means your email did not hit the
Well,
spot.
yeah. Where is that email?
Yeah, your sales system
Oh,
is currently
I
pretty.
sent it yesterday afternoon.
Oh, okay, okay.
So yeah, I haven't. I thought it was a day ago afternoon, but it was yesterday afternoon.
That's better, but still, let me take a look.
Of course, now I'm wishing that I had dived more into the pain on that stuff.
Every time.
On
We
the
all talk
email, I
about it.
mean.
Yeah, even on the email, even in the sales call, even in every call should be like that. Should be
Yeah.
pain.
there we go. Yeah, and I gave him 2 different offers.
Why?
I should have just. I know.
Why, dude? No, you, damn it, no. Okay.
As soon as I copied it, I was like, "Oh yeah, that's what I did," and I knew you were going to be like, no."
No,
Okay.
Okay.
Because I was stuck between that group coaching and the mastermind idea.
When did I say it was anything less than what I had proposed to you? Like, you could go and do that shit.
You said mastermind, and that's where I got lost. Is because I was
the
like,
name
okay.
might be mastermind, but everything I've been telling you is the same format.
Group
It was
coaching?
never, yeah. The name might be mastermind just so that people associate that with a higher price point, but nothing more than that.
Okay. Well, I will just put this. Yeah, I'll just put it into a ongoing group coaching. But then I don't want to call it a mastermind. I want to call it something else.
Dude, all of this should be done on a call, not in an email, because now they are like, you put them in a logical brain space. So maybe some will sign up. And this cannot be a 15-minute call at this point. It's more of an hour-long call to convince them, to basically walk them through the pains and the frustrations and everything all over again.
Yeah.
And show them what's their heaven and hell so that they will buy. You don't make $1,000 a month sales on email most of the times. It needs more than that. Well,
you live and learn. I mean, yeah.
Sure, some of these will still convert because they'll be interested in talking, but some of these you could have converted and they might just.
Yeah, I might have messed it up.
There was no need for Academy. It's just too much. You're just not.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm still clarifying this. Yeah, I'll just put it together as
your one-time offer is useless, Chuck. The reason why I say that is because how many people will you sell this one-time offer to all the time?
I don't know. I don't know.
You would have to sell 100 people to make $50,000. How are you going to sell that? Right? Unless you have a functioning email marketing system and automation and things like that. Like,
no, that makes sense.
It's unnecessary at this point. No, because
the problem that I had. So the reason that I kind of wound up where I did was because I was sitting here going, okay, well, I want to run the mastermind, but I wasn't clear on whether it was a mastermind or group coaching. I really wasn't up until we talked today. And so I was like, well, the reason that these people want in is so that I could show them how to start a podcast and get all this stuff running. And, and how to build their career off of that, get to wherever they're trying to get.
The mastermind, like, I'm already doing this calculation in my head and I'm like, I'm not sure if I want this right now. Think about this, okay? You're saying each will focus on 2 members in a hot seat along with quick spot check. Like two members and you have 10 to 12 members. So you're saying I'm not even going to get a chance in 6 weeks. Like, that's not what I'm looking for as someone who's wants to get started tomorrow to build their freaking podcast.
Okay.
So all of this is not the right offer. I'm not sure where you came up with this offer from, but that was definitely, like, if you've seen me running the mastermind so far, that's not what I'm running there. I'm actually helping each and every individual through this process.
Okay. Well, I'll rework it because I mean, I can do that. I can do that for an hour or so every week. And just
you can do an hour or you can do 2 hours. It doesn't matter. You're gonna help people, you're gonna get them results. That's what's important.
Yeah.
Get them results. Like, these people don't really give a fuck about hot seat and all that stuff. This is all like hot seat. Who cares about hot seat? What they want is, how will I get my podcast launched, and how will I have enough people paying me, or how will I make more money as a result?
You're right. but I got hung up on the mastermind idea because
Who
every
gave you
mastermind,
that? Who was telling you that shit?
just
I
every
wasn't,
mastermind I've ever been a part of,
except for me. I didn't say that.
except for yours. Yeah.
Except for the place where I was telling you to do this. Damn it. I did not tell you to do this. Did not tell you to do this. Okay, so for anyone who's listening, you probably can't see this email, which is okay. But I do want to say that this is where it gets really challenging. This is why you need to follow one person and one system for a while and get that result before you start another system or another thing. Because you can easily go down the path of listening to three different people and doing mix up of three different things, and it'll blow up in your face.
Yeah. It's also a lesson in, if you're going to coach somebody to do a specific thing, you need to be specific about the thing they're going to do.
I gave you very specific instructions. I think you just did.
You told me to start a mastermind, and so that's what I started to pull together. And then I started to hear that people wanted something a little bit different, and I decided to offer them both instead of offering just the one thing.
Hang on. When you said you decided to, depending on what people told you, what was it? What was the different thing that they wanted? It was definitely not a two people hot seat every week.
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
But so I was trying to do the mastermind because that's what I felt like you were telling me to do. And that was an idea I liked. But then they were telling me that they actually wanted me to teach them how to. And that's where the masterclass thing came from. And so I was like, well, so do I do both? And yeah, that's where I got wrapped around the axle.
No, yes, you need a combination of both is what you need. It's called the group coaching program.
Yeah, and that's kind of where we're getting is, I'll just have people into the group coaching.
Yeah. You need a group coaching program.
Once they reach a certain level of proficiency, then I can start that kind of a mastermind, right? Where it's like, all right.
Yeah, I mean, once you have, like, this is a completely different game. Those would be people who are like, okay, you have a podcast.
Those are people that are already dead heroes. They're already the influencers.
You've already gotten a certain level of following. You're already making a certain amount of money. If you're making 100K as a podcaster, you're a developer who's making at least 100K and you have a podcast, this mastermind is for you. That's the kind of stuff you would think about at that level. Right now, you need to go on a group coaching program. You need to tell these people, email these. Well, now it's like, well, let's see what people come back with. I don't know what will happen now. I don't know what is the outcome of this, if people will email you back or anything like that.
But I can give them a few days and then come back and say, hey, look, I've gotten some feedback. I'd like to talk it over with you. Can we jump on a call? And then I can do the sales and I can say, hey, look, we're going to do a group coaching that's structured like this.
So at this point, I don't want you to start another, okay, so here, from what I'm looking at right now, you should not send any email about structure anymore.
Okay.
Don't send emails with offers more. Like, this is what you did.
Right.
You send an email with an offer, but without any sales page, without anything. It's just a straight up email with an offer.
Yeah, I did.
Right. Don't do that right now because you haven't built enough of a pain, frustration in them. You haven't built the hell in them. You haven't built the heaven in them. They're not ready for that yet. Okay. Some people might buy it, which would be great, but then you'd lose people who would have also bought.
Right.
So no more offer emails. Okay. No more offer emails. Mm-hmm. No more offer emails, no matter what the price point you're dealing with.
Okay.
Especially the $1,000 a month program. You're not going to put that in an email right now. Okay. The only thing you're going to do after this, depending on the feedback, maybe some people come back and say, okay, some people schedule a call to talk about it, blah, blah, blah. What you're going to do, the next email that's going to go out is going to say, oh, by the way, there's been some major changes in the way this is going to happen, because ultimately I really care about the results that you guys get. And I have figured out that after talking to a bunch of people, like, this is like, there's a There's a much better way to get you the results that you want to get,
Right.
or to get you where you want to go. So if you are interested, I would love to get on a 60-minute strategy session. Call it the strategy session,
Uh-huh.
60-minute strategy session with you, where we'll talk about how, where we can talk about the whole program, or
Right.
where I will help, where we will strategize through your current situation and show like, and I will tell you what I have to offer, or where we'll strategize through your current situation and evaluate if this is a good fit for you.
Right.
Evaluate if this is a good fit for you, and you leave it at that. Okay, because the more right now what's happening is you're putting the ball in their court and saying, hey,
Yes.
do you want this? I i've created a program, do you want it? And they're like,
Yeah.
shit, I don't know, it's a lot of
Yeah.
money, but it just seems like there's some stuff that I'll get, but that's a shit ton of money for not clearly knowing what the outcome is or anything like that.
Hmm.
You might get some takers on it, which would be great, but damn it, it will just not give you the taker, like it will just not give
Right.
you the sales results that you could have gotten if you just hung on a little more to this.
Yeah.
Okay? Send me a Voxer message next time before you decide to do something
Right.
like this.
I
uh,
will.
yeah. So this is the sales challenge of something like this, is that without clearly articulating the frustration and
Yeah.
the amazing outcome, you just, you basically you left them in limbo.
Yeah. No, I get it. I get it. I mean, you're
because
saying
i
it and it makes total sense and I'm going, "Oh, yeah." Because
because
then
I
what I'm doing is I'm walking them through the, yeah, I really do have this pain and I really do want that result and I really do need somebody to guide me through this. And so, he's offering to do this and it's totally worth, but it's easier to do if I'm talking to him like we're talking as opposed to sending them an email. And so if I could get
here's
them on the
a
phone and talk them through that journey in their
yeah,
head,
yeah.
then they're more likely to pull the trigger at the end of it.
Here's the other part of this equation that I think is super important to understand. It's not just like I'm just not doing this as a greedy salesperson. That's not the
Right.
point. I literally have had sales calls where the person is going through the sales call and they're like, oh my God, dude, I never thought about it. Thank you. Thank you for making
Hmm.
me realize what is like literally as they're digging into their own challenges and frustrations, and as I'm letting them dig through it, they come to realizations much deeper than they come on themselves. It's because you're asking questions and
Right.
you're letting them speak, right? They will come to the realization that their job is so terrible that they could not see themselves being in their job for the next 20 years of their lives and living the lives
Hmm.
of their senior or their, they don't want to live the life of their boss. They don't like, do they want to be like their boss 2 years from today, 3 years from today,
Hmm.
5 years from today? Like all of those things, it's not apparent to you or apparent to the guy until you ask those questions. So in many ways, those questions are a requirement for that person to become intimate with their pain.
Right.
Because without being intimate to their pain, they will never take the next step. They will never learn. They will never go after the big solution. They will take the easy route. They will just do the stupid stuff, the easy stuff.
Right. No, that makes
Right?
total sense.
So sales job is to make people realize how much they want something,
Right.
to make them burn with desire. Because if we fail at creating that desire in them, then they will not take action when the call is done and when it's all over and they say, oh yeah,
Right.
I can do it. uh, I think i'm gonna do a I'm gonna have to do a workshop on this process because it feels like there's a lot that's involved and it's easy to get lost on some of these details. So maybe I'll do that for our 100K accelerator program, and we'll make it easier for
Yep.
everyone to kind of understand. Not everyone is in this boat, but I feel like 3 of you guys will get value from this. 3 or 4
Mhm.
guys will get value from this, so it might be worth doing it. And yeah,
Yep.
man, like high-end coaching, high-end mastermind, the purpose of it is not the technical details,
Right.
right? The high-end coaching is a much bigger container. It is for getting people to commit to their dream,
Right.
right?
No, that makes
It's
sense.
for getting people to commit to making it happen. That's what a
Mhm.
high-end coaching program is for, more than it is for tactical advice and feedback. Like, yes, the strategic guidance that I give in my program is huge. Like people make thousands, like people are making tens of thousands of
Mhm.
dollars as a result of that. But more importantly, they're doing the work I tell them to do because they're committed to making it happen,
Right.
right?
But
So you're enrolling
yeah.
them to commit to taking this journey, and then they would listen to you. Then they will be your mentees, and then they'll
Right.
walk the path.
Well, yeah, and I see that some of the technical advice that you give people is just to get them out of their own way, right? It's, hey, look, take this action, right? Because then they're moving forward, and then they'll take the next 2 or 3 actions, right? It's like you get them to do 1 push-up, and then they'll do another 9 push-ups, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And so you're essentially getting them some momentum, or showing them how to work around whatever issues they're going to have, and allow them to kind of claim the next level on their dream.
Yeah, and then there's always the next level at which they arrive again, and I'll be like, okay, now do this, right? Now
Yeah.
do that. So a lot of high-end coaching is about uh, like strategic moves that move major levers for the business. But for the person to do those things, they have to pay that money to become a part of that thing to do that work.
Right.
Because I gave you the example of my friend who was getting my help, and I would tell him, go do this, and he would do half-ass. And now because he's paying, he's actually making,
Yeah.
he's doing a lot more work and getting a lot more results out of it compared to what he was getting for free, where he wasn't really doing much. So people can go and watch my YouTube videos. I have literally have videos where I show them, okay, how I make $8,000 an hour, how I made $25,000 in the last 2 weeks with just 2 hours of work, and all of those things. And they're very strategic videos, but most people just cannot implement them right now because they don't know how to actually put that in effect into their business, and they can't really think strategically enough to be able to take that action. So they'll be like, oh my god, this is great advice, someday I'll get to it, and they'll never get to it. But if they come work,
Right.
and if they become a part of the coaching system of what I'm building or what you're building, then I can force them to do the work and get them the results.
Right.
Then I can be like, do it, damn it, this is what I want you to do. I will not talk to you if you don't show up next week without this work done. Like literally, one of the guys in the mastermind, I should stop calling it the mastermind, in the group coaching program, was basically I forced him. You remember that? I was like, dude, I want you to do this every week. Otherwise, it's not like I'm not going to be very happy next week when you show up. Do this every freaking day. Every day you're going to have this meeting with your Facebook ads person in order to move this forward, because that's the only way you're going to make this progress. Otherwise, you're just going to be like, nah, whatever. So this high level container you're building is not a logical container. That's the most important part of the equation. Like it's a very strategic uh, piece, and anyone who does the work, like for the program that I have, the 100K accelerator, right? I know that if anyone does the work, it's the return on that is 10x.
Right.
10x their investment easily, right? Because that strategic work is so valuable that they'll get 10x the results, but they don't know yet.
Right.
So if I just logically present to them the argument, they'll be like, yeah, I can do it myself. I'll figure it out myself. Oh, maybe, yeah. Oh, just this. Yeah. Manny already talked about finding high leverage work, and he already talked about how to make $1,000 an hour. why I don't need to go and get coached by Manny anymore, because it's already like he's already laid out the blueprint. There's a video to talk about that, or he's already talked about how to get exponential growth using the right vision and this and that. I don't need to go learn from him anymore, because I already have. No, it's not going to happen, because you still don't have, you don't know what's the right thing to do at the right time, and you
Right.
don't have a container of commitment to make it happen. You are living in the gray zone right now. If you want results, you're going to get into the container of commitment to get the results.
Yep, makes sense.
Oh,
So I have one more question. I
Uh-huh.
talked to another guy this last week,
Mhm.
and he really, like, when we talked about what he didn't like about his current job, he felt like he wasn't able to be as creative as he wanted, but he wasn't able to get specific on what he would do different. Like what, so the hell was there, right? And he could feel that pressure,
Mhm.
but he didn't know how the heaven would express itself. Does that make sense? Like, how do
Well,
you get
that's your
somebody
job
there?
as a leader.
Yeah, I mean, I talked him around a couple ideas. Are you looking, more
No,
for this kind of thing or this kind of thing? But I don't know.
so your job as a leader is to let them show the pain to themselves. Don't
Right.
ever, in your sales calls, don't ever make them feel bad about themselves. Okay?
No, I
You
wasn't,
don't.
but
No, no. I'm giving you the framework for a
right.
sales call. Okay? The hell is not something you get involved with beyond asking questions,
No. And I didn't.
right? Let me explain.
Yeah.
Don't worry, you don't have to explain. I'm just kind of giving the framework for everyone who's listening out here.
Okay.
The hell is something you don't cause pain for them. They have to cause
Yeah.
self-inflicted pain,
Yeah.
right? So you ask questions. Why not? Why? Why is this a problem? Why is this hurting you? Why couldn't you go on like this for the next 20 years? What's wrong with that? What's wrong with living in this little 600 square foot, one bedroom apartment for the rest of your life? Why? Why not? What's wrong with
Yeah.
that, man? Let them cause as much pain as they want to themselves. You don't
Okay.
cause that pain. You just ask
Okay.
questions. Hell is for asking questions. Heaven is for showing them a vision that they even can't see today. That's the job
Right.
of a leader. You have to create that vision when they can't create the vision themselves.
Right.
So whatever that person's situation is, and they say, yeah, I think I could do this, I could do, yeah, you now you have to step in, and as a leader you could be like, dude, but there's so much more you could do. Like if you could get, I can, like
I got
as
you.
someone looking from outside, I see what's possible in your business, right? There's so much more. If only you did these moves, you could take this business to the next level. This is not
Right.
like what you're telling me today is just like you're playing, like you can basically keep showing them a bigger vision. Your job
Right.
as a leader is to make them feel good in your presence, but never to make them feel bad because of what you say.
Right. No.
Let them make themselves feel bad. You make them feel good in your presence by showing them a much bigger vision,
Right. And so when
right?
he's talking about his lack of creativity and I don't get to work on interesting problems and I don't feel like I'm growing, and we went through all that. Like, I asked him a bunch of questions and he talked his way through all that stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
so then I was like, okay, well now, but where do you want to go? Like, how does this creativity manifest? And he didn't really have a good answer. And so my job would have been, well, what if you could work on an open source project that challenged your thinking, and you could pick up freelance clients
Maybe,
or go
maybe.
get a better job, or
Mm-hmm.
you know
Yeah, you have to ask leading questions at that point. You have to ask questions that will show him a possible answer. You're like, okay,
right.
and sometimes people are just not ready for that transformation, and
Yeah.
sometimes you just don't want them in your system because they're not ready for that bigger step up, and you don't want people like that because they will only hurt your progress. They will make you feel like,
Yeah.
I don't, this is too much work, right? So the
Yep.
way to think about it is, if the guy is like, yeah, I want to be more creative, I want to have more, like, I want to do work I enjoy, you're like, what would that mean for you? How would that show up in your career? Like if
Yeah,
you
I asked him
started
that
to,
and he said, I don't know.
well, you keep asking, well, why do you want to,
Yeah.
like, do you really care to step up? in your career? Do you really care to
Yeah.
do bigger things in your? Because there are people. Okay, here's the other thing, man. There are people who just don't want to do bigger things,
Yeah.
right? And you have to cut loose. You have to cut them
Hmm.
loose. You don't want those people because they'll be toxic.
Right.
Because they'll be showing up with that energy of like, yeah, I don't know, man. And this is not really like whatever.
Right. Because if they don't attach to that dream, going back to the earlier conversation, if they don't attach to that, they're not going to bring the energy that you want to the group.
I'm very selective of the people I bring because I don't want toxic people who are like, oh, yeah, maybe I could just show up and Manny will do all the work and I'll get the
Yeah.
results. And then when I tell them to do something, they'll be like, no, I don't want to do this work or I don't want to do that work. Like, I'm not really that excited about this thing. In which case, I'll have to fire them because if you're
Yep.
not excited, you're not useful to leveling up everyone else in this business in this container.
Yep. No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Good deal. Well, thanks for that. I think, yeah, I've gotten a lot more clarity on what I'm doing. And yeah, I mean, it seems obvious when you say it, but I don't know that I really got it, even though you've been saying it before until now. So
It's a matter of repetition. And that's exactly why we need a coaching system, right?
yeah.
That's why we
Oh
need a
yeah.
coaching framework. That's why you need to be in a coaching framework because otherwise you just could be trying it yourself and you'd say, oh, it doesn't work. Manny was lying, right? You
Nope.
could,
I'm just gonna find a better way to screw it up.
right? Like the Austrian guy, he could totally try and just do it himself. And then 6 months later, he would give up on that
Yeah.
dream. He's like, yeah, that shit doesn't work. I tried podcasting. I had 100 listeners, but I didn't really get a client. It was just a waste of my time.
Yeah.
And it's over, right?
Yep.
Instead, the guy could have had 1 million listeners and he could have had $1 million business if only you had actually
Yeah.
forced him to walk the path that you built. And for all of you guys who are listening, if you actually feel like you are trying to build your online business, you're making some money, I mean, we can talk about that. But if you really want to grow, you want to make 100K per year in your funnels, then come talk to me. Apply for my coaching program. The one that Chuck is wondering if it's a mastermind or a group coaching, but it is a group coaching program. I
Yeah.
basically I help every person where they are. So 2000books.com/coaching for that. Chuck got his first mastermind client out of it, which is great. So
Yep.
$500 in the bank from that in 2 weeks of work. And that's a recurring monthly. So that's
Yep. It
$500 a
is.
month recurring. And once you get like 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 10, that's like $5,000 a month in
Yeah.
recurring. So, yep.
Yep. I still haven't heard back from Developer Media, so
Ouch. How
I
many
think
emails? When did you send the last email?
I sent an email early this week and just outlined what hey, this is how I'd like to make this right. Didn't hear anything. I called and left a voicemail on Wednesday. I still haven't heard anything.
Fuck, man. That sucks.
So I think I'm going to take John's suggestion and see if I can get a hold of the sponsors and see if I can make it right directly with them. And then if they go tell Developer Media that they want to work with me, then great. And if not, then maybe I can just bring them on as sponsors. I would rather have Developer Media just finding me
Yeah, of
sponsors.
course. Yeah. Maybe, yeah, go try. I mean, you can't give up on them just yet.
No. If it's a done deal, then I'll just do what I've got to do.
Yeah, but don't do that. Don't do anything crazy just yet, other than trying to
No.
get them for the next few weeks. Work on trying to get them for the next few weeks.
What I'm hoping happens is that, so I contact these sponsors, we get everything squared away with them. They go back to Developer Media, and Developer Media comes back and says, okay, let's try this again. And if that doesn't happen, then what I'm hoping is that Developer Media comes back and says, look, we get that you're trying to make this right. We appreciate that, but it's just not going to happen. At least then I know, right?
Yeah.
One way or the other.
Yeah, yeah. Damn it, man. That was a good thing. That was a
Yeah.
good thing you had going on.
Yeah, I blew it. I mean, yeah, I kind of expected it to be a little bit more forgiving the way that it has been with other sponsors, but I get, John explained last time where they were probably coming from. That makes total sense to me.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
you can't expect anyone to be forgiving in business, right?
yeah.
Business is business. Like people just don't care. They're just cutthroat money on the line. So it's not even cutthroat. It's not like I don't even blame anyone for that. Like it's just
No.
money on the
No,
line,
I
and the
blame me. It's my fault.
yeah,
But
yeah. When money's
I
on the
can't go
line,
back and change it, so the next best thing is to make it right now
yeah,
and move ahead. So, I'll do right by him one way or the other, and then we'll see where we end up.
yeah, yeah. Either ways, now like this mastermind has to go and has to not go, as in has to happen very well for you, so
Yeah.
you can run maybe 2 or 3 of these group coaching cohorts together and build a
Yeah,
real
I'd love to
system
do
out of
that.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not really that hard. You're getting people interested to jump on the calls with you, qualified people, which is a great start. Now you just need a
Yep.
sales call structure. I'll give you that next time. So
All
you
right,
have a
sounds good.
clear structure for your sales calls.
Is there anything I can do for you?
Oh, it's great. Just maybe once we get a few more coaching plans for you, then it'll be fun.
Yep.
Then that's when it gets really fun. So,
Sounds good.
all right, man.
All right. Well,
Closing thoughts.
thoughts?
Yep.
I mean, my thought is mostly around just keep trying. I mean, it's easy to get discouraged when things don't go quite the way that you wanted them to, or when you screw stuff up. That doesn't mean that the overall idea is wrong. It just means that maybe you need to rethink your strategy a little.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I guess my thought is mostly around as long as I'm not failing the same way twice, right? As long as I'm not doing the same thing over and over and over again, and then being frustrated that it's not working any of those times, right? So learn, grow, move forward, keep going, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a certain tolerance that people have for, if you screw up with them too many times, but I mean, ultimately that's the thing. And then the other thought I have, because I have 2 of them, because 2 are better than 1, right? Except for when you have offers in an email. Um, the other thought I have is mostly around, yeah, just building that machine, building the systems, right? And sometimes the systems are okay. I'm not really clear on what this particular piece of the system is, but just
Mm-hmm.
putting the parts that you understand down and then working through the rest. And I'm doing that right now with Michaela, who I'm training to pick up where Michelle left off. Because I can screw 2 things up at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's kind of, it's been an interesting challenge, but at the same time, I mean, just having that system in place and having it so that she and I understand how things go together and how she can ask questions about some of this stuff. It's been a really powerful thing to just kind of move more and more stuff off my plate so I can focus on this other stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah. Uh, my thought is that in business, it's important to do the right thing at the right time.
mhm.
Um, there's no other combination. So if you think of the 4 combinations in any given thing, in any endeavor, there is the right thing at the right thing at the wrong thing at the right time, and wrong thing at the wrong time. Okay? The reason why most people don't make progress is because they do the wrong things at the wrong time. or the wrong thing at the right time. But then there's a bunch of people who are doing the right things at the wrong time. You can do the most right things, but you do them that you're doing the right thing, but it's just not the right time for that damn thing. And
Right.
does not work. Does not work. It's multiplicative. Wrong multiplied by wrong is still wrong. Wrong multiplied by right is still wrong.
Yep.
Right thing at the wrong time is still wrong. It's multiplicative. The only thing that moves a business forward massively, like I'm talking in huge chunks of improvement, is right thing at the right time.
Mhm.
And unless you have clarity in business on what is the right thing to do at any given time in your business, you're going to suffer. You're going to end up creating linear growth in your business. You're not going to double your business. You're not going to quadruple your business. You're just going to get stuck in that endless loop of just doing things. Right things at the wrong time don't lead to massive growth. They just lead to very anemic progress, if any, or the business is just stuck for most of the times.
Mhm.
So the only one way to make progress in business is right thing at the right time. Now, here is what happens to most people when they're trying to do the right thing at the time. They don't know what the hell the right thing is to do at any given stage of their business because they
Mhm.
haven't walked the path, because they haven't done the damn thing that they're trying to do. So they don't know what's the right thing to do at this stage of the business. So they're just guessing.
Right.
And when you're guessing, what happens is you can guess and try to do the wrong thing for a whole month or 2 months or 3 months
Mhm.
and make just little progress because you haven't walked the path. So you're just guessing, you're hoping this will work, this will work, this will work. You're trying these random things and hoping that something will work. But you wasted 3 months in the process. And the waste of 3 months in the process is not just 3 months, it's $30,000 or $60,000, depending on if the business could have ultimately been making $10,000 a month or $20,000 a month. And instead it's making $1,000, $2,000 a month, right? So the loss
Right.
of that month of doing the right thing at the wrong time is not just the time lost, it's tens of thousands of dollars. And if you keep repeating that pattern
Mhm.
for a whole year, that's $100,000, $200,000, $500,000 in your business that you are losing because you're doing the right thing at the wrong time. So
Right.
you have to find the right thing to do at the right time. And the only way you do that is by working with someone who has walked the path before you, who knows what is the right thing to do at the current stage of your business. That's
Right.
why every sportsman has a coach. That's why every business leader has a coach. It is the only way you get to the next level in business, or you get to the next level in business really fast.
Right. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also interesting because I feel like what you're saying about right thing at the wrong time is that it can feel like success, right? It can feel
Mm-hmm.
like you're making progress because it does bring in a little more money, but it's
Mm-hmm.
not the thing that's going to take things just to a completely new
Explosive.
level. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, explosive growth does not happen unless it's the right thing at the right time. And that's what's called strategy, right?
Yep.
Strategy is doing the right right stuff that has exponential effect. Strategy is basically finding those lever, finding that point where just a little bit of effort brings about dramatic results in your business. For example, one of the guys in the mastermind or in my group coaching, I should start calling it my group coaching. For him, I literally gave him the copywriter. I literally told him, go work with this copywriter,
Uh-huh.
pay him $1,000, and that's all you need to do. You don't need to do any of the work. You don't need to write 5, 7 emails because he was dreading all of that shit. For $1,000, he's probably going to come out on the end of it with at least another $40,000 to $50,000 in the next 2 weeks, right? In the total time frame that he hired that person for. That's leverage. That's right thing at the right time.
Yep.
But he wasn't going to do that because he couldn't see that.
Yep.
So that's so important, man. Like strategy by itself is like
Yep.
game changer in business. It's exponential results.
Yep. Makes sense.
All right.
All right. Well, I think we're done. We'll go ahead and wrap up. See you
See you
next
guys
week.
next time. Bye bye.